Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special tribute edition, where we take a moment to reflect on a life that truly embodied the spirit of dedication and passion in Japanese broadcasting. Today, we're talking about Daisuke Sugaya, the beloved Nippon Television announcer who, at just 53 years old, left us far too soon on 8 November 2025, after a brave battle with pancreatic cancer that he fought with the same vigor he brought to every live sports call. It's a story that's equal parts heartbreaking and inspiring, one that reminds us how fragile our time is, even for those who seem unbreakable behind the microphone. Sugaya wasn't just a voice on the airwaves, he was the heartbeat of countless thrilling moments for sports fans across Japan, and his sudden passing has sent ripples of sorrow through the industry he loved so dearly. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand the man, we have to trace those early footsteps that led him to the bright lights of Nippon TV. Born in November 1971 in the quiet city of Sakura in Chiba Prefecture, Daisuke grew up in a world that valued education and curiosity above all. He attended Chiba Higashi High School, where his sharp mind and outgoing personality likely first hinted at the charisma that would define his career. From there, he pursued higher learning with real purpose, graduating from Chiba University's Faculty of Law and Economics before heading to the prestigious International Christian University for graduate studies in international relations and administrative sciences. Imagine that, a young man in his 20s diving deep into global affairs, perhaps dreaming of a life that bridged cultures and stories. But fate, or maybe just a spark of destiny, pulled him towards the world of media. In 1997, at the age of 26, he joined Nippon Television, stepping into a role that would transform him from student to storyteller overnight. Those early years at NTV were a whirlwind of growth and discovery for Sugaya. He quickly made his mark in variety shows and news segments, where his warm, engaging delivery cut through the noise like a fresh breeze. Picture him on set for the first time, microphone in hand, navigating the chaos of live television with that trademark poise. By the early 2000s, he was a fixture on programs like News Every Saturday, where he handled everything from breaking stories to in-depth interviews with the unflappable calm that made viewers trust him implicitly. It wasn't just about reading the teleprompter. Sugaya had this innate ability to connect, to make complex news feel personal, like he was chatting with you over tea. And let's not forget his forays into entertainment, hosting segments that blended humor with insight, always leaving room for that subtle wit that endeared him to colleagues and audiences alike. He rose through the ranks to become an executive announcer, a testament to his reliability and that quiet leadership that doesn't shout but simply leads by example. But if there's one arena where Daisuke Sugaya truly shone, where his voice became synonymous with exhilaration and drama, it was sports commentary. Oh, how he lived for those moments. The roar of the crowd, the tension in the air, the split-second decisions that define champions. He was the man behind the mic for the Hakone Ekiden, that grueling university relay marathon that grips Japan every New Year, where his calls captured not just the runner's strides, but the sheer willpower pushing them forward. Listeners would hang on his every word as he painted pictures of sweat-soaked determination along those winding Tokyo streets, his excitement infectious, pulling even casual fans into the fray. Then there was professional wrestling, where Sugaya's energy matched the slams and suplexes in the ring. He narrated feuds and finishes with a flair that made every match feel epic, like ancient gladiators clashing under modern lights. And golf. Golf was his quiet passion too, a nod to his own hobbies off the clock. He'd break down swings and putts with the precision of a fellow enthusiast, his voice steady, yet alive with the thrill of a birdie on the 18th. These weren't just jobs for him, they were extensions of his soul, places where he channeled his love for American football from his university days and the dramatic flair he'd picked up from theater pursuits. In a country where sports broadcasting can make or break a career, Sugaya didn't just commentate, he elevated the game, making millions feel like they were right there in the stadium, hearts pounding in unison. Of course, no story of Daisuke Sugaya would be complete without touching on the personal side, the man beyond the spotlight who grounded all that professional fire. In 2001, he found a partner in life when he married a flight attendant from Japanese Airlines, a union that spoke to his grounded nature amid the glamour of TV. Together, they built a life that balanced the highs of public acclaim with the simple joys of family. Weekends perhaps spent on the golf course or lost in a play, hobbies that kept him connected to the world outside the studio. He was known among friends as someone who threw himself into what he loved, whether it was dissecting a football strategy or rehearsing lines for a community theater production. Blood type B, they say in Japan, which often tags people as creative, free spirits, and Sugaya embodied that, passionate, adaptable, always ready for the next adventure. Standing at 177 centimeters with that approachable stature, he never seemed larger than life off camera, but oh, how he filled the screen when it counted. Yet, woven through this tapestry of triumph is a thread of profound challenge, one that tested Sugaya's resilience like nothing else could. In January 2022, at the peak of his career, he received a diagnosis that would shake anyone to their core: pancreatic cancer, a stealthy foe that's notoriously hard to detect early and even harder to conquer. For those unfamiliar, pancreatic cancer often strikes without warning, its symptoms masked until it's advanced. And in Japan, where screening isn't as routine as for other cancers, stories like his hit especially close to home. Sugaya, true to form, didn't retreat into silence. He underwent laparoscopic surgery in April that year, a 4-hour procedure that removed the tumor and gave him a fighting chance. Publicly sharing his journey, he became an unwitting advocate, emphasizing early detection and the importance of listening to your body amid the grind of daily life. Colleagues recall how he returned to work not with fanfare, but with quiet determination, vowing to make it to 30 years at NTV. That milestone was just months away when, on 7 November 2025, after wrapping a routine shift, he felt unwell at home and was rushed to hospital. What followed was a rapid decline, internal bleeding from the digestive tract, a cruel complication of his ongoing battle, and by 1:06 p.m. the next day, he was gone, just 53, with so much left to give. It's the kind of news that stops you cold, forcing a reckoning with how we value health in professions that demand everything. As we sit with this loss, it's worth pausing to consider what Sugaya's story illuminates about the world he inhabited. Japanese broadcasting, with its relentless pace and cultural emphasis on endurance, often glorifies the karoshi mindset, the overwork that claims lives quietly. But Sugaya's openness about his illness challenged that narrative. He worked until the end, yes, but he also reminded us that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's human. His final social media post, just 2 weeks before, showed him smiling, ever the optimist, perhaps hinting at the French fashion event he co-hosted with actress Miho Yamawata. In tributes pouring in from fellow announcers and athletes, one theme emerges: gratitude for a voice that made sports feel alive, that turned statistics into stories of human striving. The Hakone Ekiden runners he once lauded might now run a lap in his honor. Wrestlers could dedicate a pinfall to the man who called their glory. And for us viewers, his legacy lingers in every broadcast that feels a little less vibrant without him. In closing, Daisuke Sugaya wasn't merely an announcer. He was a conduit for joy, a warrior in the arena of words, and a lesson in living fully despite the shadows. As Nippon TV mourns one of its own, and Japan reflects on losing such a steady presence, let's honor him by tuning in a bit more mindfully, by checking in on our loved ones, by chasing our passions with the same unfiltered enthusiasm he did. Rest easy, Daisuke. Your voice echoes on in every cheer, every finish line crossed. Thank you for joining me in this remembrance. If his story touched you, drop a comment below about your favorite memory of his work. Until next time, take care and keep the conversation going.